Okay, here they tell us in the first part of the equation that a football team won 8 more games than they lost. So let's use W for the games they won, because W is the first letter of the word won. So W equals 8 more games than they lost. So if we add 8 to the games they lost, we get what W equals. So I'm going to use L for the games they lost and W for the games they won. So W, the games they won, equals 8 more than the games they lost, right? So that's what W equals. They played a total of 24 games. So W plus L equals 24. So the games they won plus the games they lost equals 24. Since I know what W equals L plus 8, or the games they lost plus 8, that equals W, I'm going to grab and substitute the W for L plus 8, right? So I'm going to write L plus 8. All right, so we plug it in. So L plus W plus L equals 24. Right, now I combine like terms. The L's are like terms, so L plus L is 2L. So 2L plus 8 equals 24. Then I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides because I want to get L by itself. And I get 2L equals 16. And then I divide by 2, both sides by 2. And I get L equals 8, right? And since L is the same as 8 and W is the same as L plus 8, W equals 8 plus 8. Oops. W equals 16. So W equals 16 and L equals 8. That's the solution to this problem. Those are the two numbers. They won 16 games and they lost 8 games. Okay, ignore what they have written. Let's figure it out on our own without looking at their examples. Let's break down the word problem. The first part of the word problem that tells us that a boy is 8 years older than his brother. Whenever using variables, I like to always use X for the bigger number. And since we're talking about an older boy, and it's telling us that the older boy, X, is 8 years, a boy is equals 8 years older than his brother. So we're going to use another letter for the age of the younger brother. So X is Y plus 8 because the older boy is 8 years older than the younger boy. Okay? So to get the older boy's age, the younger boy's age to equal the older boy's age, we add 8 to the younger boy's age. That's what this is basically saying. The next part of the problem tells us that in 4 years, so if we add 4 to X, because the boy is 4 years older, in 4 years from now, the boy will be twice as old as his brother, so equals 2 times something. What is that something? Well, Y represents the younger brother's age. So when the younger brother has aged 4 years, so we're going to add 4 to it, twice the younger brother's age is going to equal the older brother's age. So that's why we do X plus 4 equals 2Y plus 4. Because if we add 4 to the older brother's age, he's going to be twice as the younger brother's age, but we have to add 4 years to the younger brother's age too. Since we know that X is the same as Y plus 8, we're going to substitute X for Y plus 8. So I'm going to write Y plus 8 plus 4 equals 2 times Y plus 4. Okay, now that I have the same variable Y's all the way through the equation, I can solve this equation. So I'm going to add like terms. Y plus 8 plus 4 is 12, plus 12 equals, and I'm going to use the distributive axiom or the distributive property. 2 times Y equals 2Y, and 2 times 4 equals 8. Now I'm going to move the knowns to one side and the unknowns to the other. In other words, I'm going to isolate the variables to one side. Well, I would like to move the y over to this side. So I'm going to subtract y. I'm going to subtract y from this side too. And since I want to move the 8 over to this side, I'm going to subtract 8 from this side and subtract 8 from this side. So that gets rid of my y here, right? And 12 minus 8 is 4. And 2y minus y is y. So what I get is 4 equals y. Now that I know what y equals, I could come back over here, plug it in. So I get x equals 4 plus 8. X equals 12. So the boy's age is 12, the older boy's age is 12, and the younger boy's age is 4. 12 and 4. So x equals 12, y equals 4. Let's do another problem. So let's break this problem apart. Let's read the first sentence. It says a certain fraction, if reduced, is equal to 4 over 5. We don't know what that fraction is, so we're going to use variables to show the fraction. X over y equals 4 over 5. Then they tell us if 3 is added to the numerator, so let's add 3 to the numerator, over y. The y doesn't change. The denominator doesn't change, so we leave it the same. The new fraction equals 1, so let's make it equal to 1. Now, just by looking at it, what my instinct tells me to do is to cross multiply. Whenever you see two fractions and there's one on each side of the equal sign, just cross multiply. So 4 times y, I'm going to cross multiply. 4 times y is 4y, and x times 5 is equals 5x. Okay. Now here I'm going to cross multiply 2. I'm going to set the 1 over 1, which is the same as 1, so that it'll make it easier for my brain to cross multiply. So 1 times y is y, and x plus 3 times 1 is x plus 3. Now if you notice, y is the same as x plus 3. So what I'm going to do, or you tell me what I'm going to do. What am I going to do with this information? Here, this equation is telling me that y is the same as x plus 3. So what am I going to do? I'm going to substitute. 4 times, since y is the same as x plus 3, wherever I see y, I'm going to plug in x plus 3. So 4 times x plus 3 equals 5x. And now I have the same variable. You see, I can't solve these equations when I have different variables. My goal is to get the same variable. So 4 times x, I'm going to use the distributive axiom or the distributive property. 4 times x is 4x. And 4 times 3 is 12. Equals 5x. Now I want to get the knowns on one side, the unknowns on the other. So I'm going to transpose. In other words, I'm going to transpose the 4x over to this side. The way I'm going to do that is by subtracting 4x from this side. Gives me 0, but what I do to one side, I got to do the other, so I'm going to subtract 4x from over here. So what I get is 12 equals 5x minus 4x, which is just x. So now I know what x equals. X equals 12. And here, I can see that y is the same as x plus 3. So if x equals 12, and I want to figure out what y is, I just substitute the x for 12. 12 plus 3. You see? Instead of writing x plus 3, I write 12 plus 3 because now I know what x equals. And that'll tell me what y equals. 12 plus 3 is 15, so y equals 15. My answer. X is 12, y is 15, so the fraction that equals 4 over 5 when reduced is 12 over 15.